Greetings and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. First of all, I want to sit there and say the reason why this is so late is because there was an interruption apparently, and so only half of the soap opera really got taped, because of the news coverage and everything like that. And I actually found the first half an hour of it on YouTube. So yeah, that's the reason why it's so late today. So let's get into it. Justin and Kayla are at the diner or whatever, and Justin's not looking at his phone. Kayla's like, what the hell is going on? And finally, Justin's like, oh yeah, I'm seeing, that they're gonna be holding some sort of press conference for Steve and Hope for saving Salem, for the bomb and everything like that, and bringing Orpheus to justice. But did they really bring him to justice? And then for the next 20 minutes, Justin is whining and complaining about how, Steven didn't shoot him, and why didn't he shoot him, and he told me to give him the gun, and he didn't shoot him. And Kayla is not there just, trying to coddle him at this point. And finally, Justin's like, well, but if it was Steven, I should have killed him when I had the chance, but Steven wouldn't have hesitated because Steven is a man of action and he has a killer instinct. And that's when Kayla was like, oh, okay, I see. Orpheus really got in your head. So, she starts with this saying about how kind he is and how he makes her coffee in the morning and he's a righteous man, this, that, and the third. And apparently it works. And even though it did work, I'm sitting there thinking, when she was sitting there giving that speech about how Justin's this and Justin's that, the only thing that I kept hearing is that Justin is safe. He is a nice, safe consolation prize. And that's the truth of the matter. But yeah, it worked. And, Justin was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't shoot him, and I'm so happy in my life, and you convinced me, and I'm so sorry, this, then, the third. And so they go, Justin accompanies Kayla to the hospital, and I'm still having a hard time pronouncing her name. So Justin is in the hospital room or whatever, and he sees Eli, or Elijah, EJ, the black guy. My goodness, I know somebody's gonna correct me in the comment section, but I think his name is Eli. We'll call him Eli. I think his name is Eli. Eli's not there talking to Justin, and Eli's like, oh, Lonnie might be pregnant, and I almost screwed up the name. Lonnie may be pregnant, but she wants to go and check for sure. So now we're gonna go back a little bit. So Eli and Lonnie are, I guess, at their apartment or whatever, and they do the home pregnancy test. And it comes back positive, and so Eli is ecstatic, he is over the moon, he is dude's really happy. And and Lonnie could not be more unexcited if she tried. And granted, I don't know the backstory, so I'm sitting there wondering, why is she not happy or whatever? Is it somebody else's baby? What is going on? And so they're at the hospital, and Lonnie's sitting there talking to Kayla. And Kayla's like, listen, let me just do another test to make sure that you're pregnant or whatever, and then we'll just go from there. And so, Lonnie's not there worried and everything like that. And then they go into a flashback, and apparently she lost her previous child. And I was like, oh, wow. Now I understand why you're worried. Okay. So, Lonnie leaves the office or whatever and talks to Eli. And she's like, yeah, you know what, I'm pregnant. And Eli's like, he's excited and stuff like that. But he's like, well, why are you not so happy? What's going on? And then Lonnie's like, I don't know if I can actually have this child. And then she just walks off. And Eli goes to follow her. And that ends their scene. Um, hold on, let me just have another sip of this because this tea and it's, I don't want it to get cold. So, let's start with Ben. Ben is in the garage or whatever, and these two dudes, literally these two tough guys, I'm not gonna lie, they were a little kind of big, but these two guys walked into the garage and it was like, oh, where's your boss at? What's his name? Jake? They kept saying, where's your boss Jake at? And, apparently, you know, Ben was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where he's at. I don't know what you want. You know, you came here before. I gave you the same answer before. And the answer's not going to change. And so one of them picks up a wrench. And Sierra comes in there. And she's like, no, don't do it. Stop. I'm sitting there thinking, alright, I get it. You look hot. But, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm just not there thinking, what are you gonna do to sit there and stop these guys? Like, and you know, Ben is like, go, get out of here, get out of here. And finally, I'm not gonna sit there and talk about the scene that this one dude, did to, Sierra. But, Sierra was like, oh, well, you don't want to sit there and mess with the necktie killer. Okay. Necktie killer. Okay, we are in full-blown soap opera mode. The necktie killer? Okay, sure. He's the necktie killer. So, once they hear that name, they're like, oh, you're the necktie killer? I'm just like, is this guy supposed to be some sort of badass or something? Apparently, he's really a psychopath or whatever. And so they're like, alright, well, we'll leave, but, you know, if we don't hear from your boss, we're coming back. And so they leave, and Sierra's, you know, is hugging Ben, and Ben's like, oh, well, you know, it's quick thinking, you know, because Sierra's like, oh, I'm sorry to bring that up, and Ben's like, well, you know, listen, you did what you had to do. It's like, dude, she didn't just do what she had to do. She did what she needed to do to stop them from beating your ass again. So Sierra's like, listen, you need to quit. And Ben is like, I can't do that because, you know, the wedding and your ring and happily ever after. And Sierra's all like, oh, well, what good is a happy forever after if you're not going to be around? And so they hug each other. And then Jake comes in. Now, Jake was at the police station. He went to go see Gabby. Now, apparently, he actually looks like Stefan. And so, I'm just sitting there thinking, so we're just going to do this again? We're just going to do this whole memory transfer thing again? We did it on GH. Apparently, we did it on One Life to Live with Victor and Todd, and now we're doing it here. Why not? At least this time, nobody got screwed over, unlike, Billy from formerly GH. But yeah, he apparently he looks like him, but he has no memory of this guy named Stefan. So he walks in the police office and he's talking to Gabby. He's like, listen, I'm not Stefan, you know, and you need to leave me the hell alone. And so Gabby's not like, listen, you only heard one side of me. And she gets into her history about how Abigail tried to frame her, and while she was in prison, this one inmate beat her so bad to the point where she can never have children again. And I was like, oh wow. I think me and Ben was like, damn, you know. And so, you know, Ben is like, listen, I'm sorry what happened while you were in prison. I'm sorry what's going on between you and your daughter, because apparently that, you know, this whole thing, like, they almost had a broken relationship between Gabby and her daughter. And Ben's like, listen, I'm sorry for all that, but I'm not your husband. You know, you tried to drug me, and, you know, he came there because he was like, well, how could you claim to love me and put something in my body that can harm me? Like, how would that work? So he's just trying to figure out, he was like, what is your angle? And they pretty much get nowhere. And Ben is just like, all right, you know what? Don't ever contact me again. You're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. He walks out, and Gabby starts crying a little bit, and that's when Ben goes to the garage, and he sees Sierra and Jake, and he's like, so, that carburetors are gonna fix itself, buddy, so why are you still standing there doing nothing? And Ben is like, listen, I'm out. Until you tell me what the hell is, because he was like, tell me what the hell is going on. What's going on with these guys? What is going on? And Ben is, and Jake is like, I don't know. I have no idea. And Ben is like, listen, until you tell me what's going on, I'm not doing this. I'm not working here. This shit ain't happening. And he just walks out. And so Ben is just kind of standing there, and he's like, upset. Either he looks upset or he looks like he looks puzzled. Is the best way I could sit there and describe it. Last little sip. So let's talk about Steven and Hope. Apparently, I guess Kate walked in. I think that's her name. Kate walked in, and she's the assistant to the mayor, and she's all like, oh, listen, because before she literally let herself in, Steven was looking at the paper. He was like, oh, we're not heroes, And apparently he has a lot of guilt. And, he's like, oh, did you see the paper or whatever? And, Hope or whatever. It's like, we're not heroes and stuff. And then Kate just walks in. And Hope is like, how did you get in? And Kate was like, well, I knocked and no one answered, so I just let myself in. And then Stefan was like, okay, cool, so you can let yourself out too. And then, Kate is talking to Stefan about some stuff that they did in the past. Apparently some really shady shit they did in the past. I have no idea, but apparently whatever it was enough to make both Hope and Steven feel guilty about screwing over the people in the town. And probably nearly killing them, apparently. It's okay, it's like, listen, I'm going to present you guys with the key of the city. Show up and don't be ungrateful. And then she walks off. And so now you got Hope and Stevenson, they're talking, and, Hope is like, listen, maybe we should just let go of the past, What happened, and we can change it, but we can sit there and move on. And she's like, you need to do the same thing. You need to forgive yourself. And Steven's like, all right, maybe, He says something along the lines of some sort of philosophical thing that he says about forgiveness and how, holding on to something too long is bad for your soul or some shit that he said. And so Hope starts talking about, Steven giving up on Kayla and, setting her free. And basically Hope's like, listen, you need to fight for Kayla. You love her. And, you took the choice out of her hand when you decided for her, when you pushed her away. And, Steve is like, listen, I did that for her. I did that so that way she can move on and she can be with somebody that she's happy with. And he seems that he for the most part, he makes her happy. So, I'm not going to sit there and stand in the way of that. And that's when Hope was like, listen, I never known you to be a coward. And basically, Hope is like, listen, it may hurt like hell. Because Steven, at this point, Steven's like, listen, I don't even know if she's going to take me back. And Hope is like, listen, if she doesn't, it's going to hurt like hell. But you know what? You can sit there and say that you tried. And honestly, tell you the truth, I'm just like, dude... In all reality, I think you're gonna be doing her a favor. Trust me. If she's gonna actually have to be carrying Justin and his temper tantrums and his crying fits, and you'd be doing her a favor and really saving her, because let's be honest, it's not a contest, okay? I don't think I've made that more clear when I started watching this soap opera. That is not a contest between Steven and Justin. So Steven goes to the hospital. Apparently Kayla hears somebody walk in and says something, and that's when Kayla turns around and it's like, oh, it's you. I didn't expect you. And in my mind, I think it's funny because I felt like we both said the same thing. We both were just like, of course you did. And he says that. I was like, see, this is why I like Steve. This is why I like Steve. Apparently, also he had something to do with some sort of bionic eye, and that was mind controlling him or something. I don't know. Also, apparently this guy Stefan had his heart ripped out. Literally, that's how Ben described it. And so he's like, how the hell did he just come back from the dead? What mad scientists do you know that's just luring around? So apparently there's a mad scientist that I haven't seen yet. So that should be interesting. But yeah. Steven's like, of course you did. And Steven's like, listen, could we talk? Now, Kayla gives Steve this look of nervousness. Like, I hope he doesn't say the right thing to make me have to choose between you and Justin. And, I mean, up until a certain point, I mean, granted, I'm still rooting for Steve. But, it was a little kind of sad when Justin went to go visit his wife's grave and was like, listen, he's meant to talk about how he's glad he did the right thing, he'd be proud of me, and I want to ask you, would it be okay if I asked Kayla to marry me? And that's when I was like, oh damn, ooh, now I kind of feel bad for him. I really feel bad for him because, I mean, he lost his wife. He feels like he's a consolation prize, but let's be honest, he feels like he's a consolation prize when it comes to us, Steven. And, now Steven's back in town, and, he's always, I mean, I'll also tell you too, I feel like there's always going to be a part of him that's going to be like, I don't know. I mean, old flames, I don't know. It's not, after that's what I was like, ooh, that's kind of bad. I actually feel bad for him. And yeah, that was pretty much the soap opera. I gotta sit there and say, it was interesting. It was interesting. There's still a lot of backstories that I don't really know, and I am still messing up these characters' names. I had to retake this video because I kept messing up Lonnie's name because I've never heard anyone named Lonnie. So anyway, yeah, that's going to do it for this recap or review of Days of Our Lives. Now tomorrow, I'm going to sit there and say that the video is going to come out a little bit late because I don't get out of work until like after 6. And so by the time I watch it and film it, and hopefully that there's no interruptions, I can put out the review, and I was sitting and say like maybe 8:30, 9, give or take, because if I don't eat, it's just kind of difficult for me to really pay attention to shit. So, my review may come out a little bit late, just let y'all know. But yeah, so that's gonna do it. Have a good day, good night, depending on you watching this. Sorry it came out so late, but to be honest, I had to search through YouTube to actually find the first half an hour of this show. So yeah, be safe, and I will catch you in the next video.